Welcome to The Explainer, folks. Look, whether you're a casual fan who just tunes in for the big games or a die-hard soccer fanatic who lives and breathes the sport, you gotta buckle up, because the World Cup, it's getting a massive, historic overhaul. We're talking about the biggest single-sport expansion in the history of the globe, spanning across host nations Canada, Mexico, and the US. This isn't just some minor tweak to the rulebook, it's a complete restructuring of the biggest tournament on Earth.
48. That's the new magic number. For decades, we've been completely conditioned to a 32-team tournament, right? It was perfect, it was symmetrical, and it was familiar. But starting right now, the scale is expanding massively. We're jumping all the way up to 48 competing national teams. That means more countries, more global fan bases tuning in, and honestly, just a whole lot more soccer hitting your screens.
And obviously, with more teams comes a staggering jump in the schedule. We're going from the traditional layout of 64 matches all the way up to an unbelievable 104 total matches. I mean, let that sink in for a second. 104 games. It's basically a non-stop soccer buffet. For a month straight, the action is going to be rolling literally from morning until night.
But here's where it gets really grueling for the players on the pitch. Historically, to win the World Cup, a national team had to survive 7 matches. 7 was the magic number. Now, that requirement is bumped up to 8. To actually lift that iconic trophy, a team has to endure a grueling 8-match gauntlet. In a sport where a single 90-minute match drains the human body to its absolute limits, adding an 8th game is a massive game changer.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're officially trading the familiar 32 teams and 64 matches for a sprawling behemoth of 48 teams and 104 matches. It completely rewrites the playbook on how a nation actually wins this tournament, and it completely reshapes how we're all going to watch it. Section 1, the group stage math.
So, how do we even organize 48 teams without the whole thing turning into total chaos? Think of me as your coach at the whiteboard right now. FIFA is taking those 48 teams and dividing them up into 12 groups of 4 teams each. You'll hear them labeled Group A all the way down to Group L. Inside these pods, it's a classic round-robin format. Every team plays exactly 3 group stage matches, one against each of the other teams in their group. The point system stays exactly the same as you remember. You get a crucial 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 for a loss. At the end of these 3 matches, the top 2 teams from all 12 groups automatically advance to the next round.
But wait, let's do the math here, because this is our mathematical speed bump. If you take 12 groups and advance the top 2 teams from each, well, you get 24 teams. But anyone who's ever filled out a March Madness or World Cup bracket knows that a knockout bracket needs 32 teams to function properly. You can't just have 24 teams in a standard knockout format. It doesn't work. So, where do we find those missing 8 teams to round out the field?
Section 2, the wildcard twist explained.
This twist is the thrilling, kinda chaotic solution to our 12-group bracket problem, and it's gonna create some unbelievable television. So what exactly is a third-placed wildcard? Essentially, after the top 2 teams in each group automatically lock in their spots, FIFA looks at all 12 of the teams that finished in 3rd place in their respective groups. They put all those 3rd-place teams on a giant leaderboard and rank them. The 8 best 3rd-place teams get a golden ticket. They advance to the knockout stage as wildcards. Add those 8 wildcards to our 24 automatic qualifiers and boom, the math is fixed. We have our perfect 32-team bracket.
Now here's where the tiebreaker math gets absolutely crazy. Finding those best 8 teams is going to trigger a dramatic multi-day playoff hunt. They're ranked first by total points, then by goal difference, and finally by goals scored. Imagine this. A team in Group F is sitting right on the bubble. Meanwhile, a team over in Group J scores a totally meaningless goal in the 90th minute of a blowout. Because of goal difference, that single, completely unrelated goal could literally knock the Group F team out of the tournament entirely. A single goal or just a scrappy draw can sneak a wildcard team into the bracket. The scoreboard watching is going to be sensational.
Section 3, the knockout gauntlet.
Once the dust settles and we finally have our 32 teams, the tournament shifts gears into brutal single-elimination soccer. There's no more playing for a safe draw. If a match is tied after 90 minutes of regular time, they play 30 agonizing minutes of extra time. If it's still tied, it goes to a heart-stopping penalty shootout. Let's trace this path. It starts with a brand new stage for the World Cup, the round of 32. 16 single-elimination matches where half the field immediately packs their bags and goes home. The 16 survivors move to the traditional round of 16, then the quarterfinals, then the semifinals. It's a grueling, unforgiving path of survival that whittles our massive field down over the course of an entire month.
And all of that blood, sweat, and tears leads to the ultimate culmination, the final weekend. Step 1 is the third-place playoff, which is a standalone match where the two losing semifinalists battle it out for international pride and the bronze medal. And then the main event, Step 2, the World Cup final. The last two teams standing step onto the grandest stage on Earth to play for the ultimate prize, the iconic gold trophy.
Section 4. What this means for fans.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real impact of the new format. Taking a step back, what does this structural change actually mean for you watching from the couch? Well, the stakes are wider now, and the entertainment value is designed to be off the charts. The absolutely crucial point is that we're going to see more Cinderella stories than ever before. Because of that wildcard twist we just broke down, smaller underdog nations have a massive incentive to fight like crazy for every single point. In the old 32-team format, if a team lost their first 2 games, they were almost certainly eliminated, making their third game totally meaningless. Now, grabbing a dramatic win or even a chaotic draw on that final group match might just be enough to sneak them in as one of those third-place wildcards. There are literally no dead rubbers anymore. Every single group game matters.
But folks, for the heavyweights, the powerhouse nations who expect to win the whole thing, there is a very harsh strategic reality setting in. As the source material points out, winning now requires incredible squad depth. Remember that new magic number we talked about? 8? Playing 8 high-intensity winner-go-home games over roughly a single month is physically and mentally exhausting. It forces managers to rotate their star players to avoid fatigue and injuries. You can't just run your starting 11 into the ground anymore. A team needs a full roster of top-tier players who can step up at a moment's notice.
Which brings us to the ultimate million-dollar question to leave you with. Will this grueling 8-match gauntlet heavily favor the deep-pocketed powerhouses, the nations who have world-class talent sitting on their benches ready to rotate in? Or will the chaotic wildcard system and the sheer unpredictability of a 48-team tournament blow the bracket wide open for a Cinderella champion to shock the world? The stage is set, the math is crazy, and the games are going to be legendary. Thanks for diving into this explainer with me, and get ready for the biggest World Cup we have ever seen.